Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 418 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined as always by my mainest man in Easton, Pennsylvania. His name's Willie Saylor. Willie, how are you?
Great, grand. You got a new mic stand. You got a new mic stand?
I got a new mic stand, and then the show started, and the audio got super crazy cutting in and out. So, there, I can hear you. All right, good. To my left, Daniel Roy Lobdell Jr.
I just had a thought. So you know how I do the number of the episode every time?
Yes, you do.
We're going to be really screwed when we get into the 1100s. So we're going to need to prepare for that. I think we got time.
Yeah,
but
I think you need to prepare for that in 2023.
Not if we start increasing the number of shows. We're going to hit it exponentially quicker.
Exponentially quicker. It's still years away. See if you can grow a digit by the time we hit 1,100 shows.
Oh, boy.
Maybe I'll need my feet involved.
Yeah, we need to keep your shoes and socks on. But that 1100th episode is not that far away.
Right around the corner.
Straight away in his nice USA Wrestling windbreaker that I think was given to him by Daniel Roy when he learned of his fatherhood.
Fantastic gift.
I did. That was my fatherhood gift to him.
Speaking of, I've got Katie reminded me. I have stuff for you. I need to bring it before that sweet baby boy comes into this world. Steven.
Should be anytime soon now.
Well,
I was going to give a time frame, but it literally could be any day now.
Any day now. But the due date's not till like November something,
yeah,
right?
November 6th.
But technically,
sometimes they come early.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I came 10 days early.
As did Caleb.
And I was still over 8 pounds.
Wow.
So if I came...
And since then, you've doubled in size.
On the due date, I would have been turkey. I would have been an actual turkey.
Wow. Turkey-sized Dan.
What were you guys when you were born?
I don't really know. I think I was pretty average.
No idea.
8 pounds, 6 ounces.
That was what I was.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, this is important. Speaking of weights, we're wondering about Austin Gomez's weight because he was listed as a 141-pound wrestle-off. Well, why would he wrestle off for a weight that he's not going to be at? But that's just what they're going to do. I think it's just for the fun. Get him some mat time, let him wrestle. He's on his way down to 133, so he says on Twitter. So because there was a time if Austin was going 41, they would have him, Ian Parker, and potentially Echemendia, all three at the same weight. Not great utility of all that talent, but it sounds like it's going to be just fine. So Austin Gomez on his way down to 33, but not before some wrestle-off fun at upper weight.
I didn't know if they were are these their wrestle-offs or are these their Cardinal and Gold matchups?
No, man.
Well, that's important. Because when people go, he's at 141, it's like, okay, but hold on, this is just like an intra-squad scrimmage, just done for the fans.
Help me, Willie. I can't.
No.
What?
I don't know what to say to that.
There's not even really a such thing as a Cardinal and Gold. I mean, there is, but there isn't. Listen, it's an exhibition.
But that's what I'm saying.
Exhibition.
Some teams have them as like actual wrestle-offs, as opposed to just a show for the fans.
It's just the whole thing's just a show for the fans. Nobody has wrestle-offs, and it's not written in stone that that's the final determination. There's no press release that says, guys, this is going to be the final determination. If X beats Y, if X beats Y is never going to start, not even if there's a fire. That's not how it goes. So
I would say they all have. Yeah, I was gonna say I think they all have the same value in terms of whatever you want to call them. Mm-hmm. The Cardinal and Gold or wrestle-offs, they mean the same thing. They're like a starting point for your starting lineup. Okay, these are the guys that'll go probably in the first duels, and then it's really more of a branding question than anything. Anyways, this is stupid. So he'll be at 33. It's interesting because when I talked to Austin, during Final X, he was like,
name drop.
That's nothing like yours. Yeah, and mine was actually, I was doing work. I was interviewing him. It wasn't like, I called, I was having dinner with Brandon Slay. That's a name drop, okay? Dinner with Olympic champion is different than interviewing college athlete at his school, okay? So learn what a name drop is and isn't, one, Willie.
I know
Two,
what it is. I'm just busting your chops.
Two, he said, a very important thing for me is managing my weight properly and doing a good job with that. So I don't know if this means anything to the contrary of that, but the fact that it's going to be a long path down to 133 makes me wonder if it's going to be another tough year.
Remember, too, that we commented a few weeks ago, I guess back when Who's Number One was, we commented that they have sort of voluntary workouts, but the first official start date of practice is pretty close to the competition date, and so you can have all the voluntary workouts you want or structured or unstructured practices, but until you have the first practice of the year, the regular practice of the year, it's difficult to maintain your weight, right? To really get down from the summer. So I think Austin will be all right.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so that's the Cyclone. That's the dresser presser.
That's Cardinal and Gold.
Cardinal and Gold wrestle-off, not wrestle-off situation. Steve and Kyle, hit us up with some Ohio State wrestle-off updates.
Yeah, so Ohio State, we talked about some of these preliminary matches yesterday. They went down yesterday afternoon. Nothing really surprising. We talked about Dylan D'Amelio. He had the injury default from his match with J.D. Stickley, so hopefully everything's okay there. Quinn Kinner won by tech fall, so that sets up the match with Luke Pletcher. Malik Heinzelman, Hunter Lucas tomorrow night. 33 will be Jordan Decatur versus Dylan Kuntz. 49, Trey Grenier versus Sammy Sasso. 57, Elijah Cleary, Jane Maddox, just like we thought. Both of Cleary and Maddox were pretty dominant. Carson Carcilla, Ethan Smith. I think that one was already set. Rocky Jordan, Caleb Romero, though, is one I'm really interested in. Rocky Jordan with a major, 13-0 over Fred Sherrill, who's not bad and been around that program for a long time.
13-0?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Gavin Hoffman, Zach Steiner at 84. And then Kevin Snyder picked up a win to take on Colin Moore at 197.
Okay. We heard an audible wow from Willie Saylor. Willie, why are you wowing?
Well, last year, Fritz Sherrill's solid.
Right.
And last year in the wrestle-offs, he wrestled somebody really tight. I don't know if it was Romero or Ethan Smith, but he was really close with somebody in last year's wrestle-offs, and for Rocky to blank him 13-0, Sherrill's not a rookie. He's pretty solid. So that's an eye-opening score anyway.
Yeah. So, I think it's an impressive outing for Rocky, and I think there's a lot of reason to be excited about Rocky coming into this season. Okay.
We didn't get any eyes on these, right? Just the ones that will be tomorrow will be broadcast, correct?
Correct.
At what time? Live on FloWrestling.org?
I believe 7:15 Eastern. Let me check that real quick.
That's 6:15 Central. So live on Flow, you can watch the Ohio State wrestle-offs. We're excited about that. It's a good way. Is it
7:15 Eastern? Confirmed.
Great. Is it replacing our Iowa City duels void, at least to an extent?
It helps.
It
does help.
It'll never replace it. You're irreplaceable, Iowa City duels. There's nothing like that noon on a Friday with your boys, eating some food and watching Iowa versus Iowa Central. It was great. So
It was great.
So we'll take it. We'll take what we can get. Ohio State wrestle-offs. We'll get real wrestling, real Division I wrestling. It doesn't count officially, but it's what we get right now. And then November 1st is just around the corner.
It's this weekend will be Wrestle-Off Central. There are a lot of wrestle-offs going down around the country, so we'll try to have results for you there. There's always a couple surprising results that we don't expect. So we should have a good bit to talk about come Tuesday.
It would be a fun article to do, like the most surprising wrestle-off results. Like, because there have been some, I think a lot of them are Oklahoma State related. Like Dean Heil lost. I want to say, did Coleman Scott lose? I forget. There's been like some Oklahoma State monsters that have like lost wrestle-offs before. It may not have been Coleman Scott. I don't remember.
Did O'Connor beat Heilman after Heilman AA'd?
Yes.
Nope.
Well,
it was the year he AA'd.
It was something. I don't know.
2 years ago. Is Heilman only a one-time?
Correct.
So, yeah. He beat him like, I don't want to say, did he major him?
No.
He beat him kind of bad, though.
Like 0 or something. Yeah.
It was not super close.
Maybe was Heilman was ranked like 4th or 5th or 6th or something like that, and O'Connor beat him. Maybe that's what it was.
Heilman was definitely ranked pretty high preseason at that point. It was a pretty solid result. Okay.
It wasn't a win, but Mekhi Lewis almost beat David McFadden his true freshman season. It was like 3-2 or like in Sun victory or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We should have known.
Yep.
Only Spay knew. Spay the all-wise saw this coming. Okay. So that's wrestle-offs. That's Austin Gomez. Now we're back into NCAA countdown season where we're getting down to the thick of it. We're getting down to some...
The thickets?
Into the thickets.
We're running for the thickets.
Yeah, Willie has been saying that the entire show, or before the show started. So we'll just keep saying.
I'm listening to Tyler lately.
Man.
You guys listen to him?
No.
Yes, he's good.
Kyle loves him.
I do. He's really good.
All right, let's go through the.
You're cutting out like crazy. I don't know if you're. I don't know if the Wi-Fi situation's bad there, Willie, but it's not good. It's not good what we're hearing. Okay, so next up is Missouri. Okay, if you haven't been listening, we're counting them down. We're down to number 7, Missouri, where their lineup, they've got some questions at certain weights where I'm not sure what they're going to be doing. These lightweights, 125, 133. So 125, Dak Punky, maybe Sevian Severado. I think it'll be Punky. 33, Connor Brown, Alan Hart. Alan Hart allegedly won the wrestle-off, but Missouri... We're going to have to access WikiLeaks to find the Missouri wrestle-off results, Kyle. I don't know. Have you been able to come across those?
No, I know Alan Hart won because St. Ed's tweeted about it because he went there. And then Missouri did put like a little minute video up with Brian Smith talking about how he thought they wrestled. And he mentioned Dak Punky scoring a lot of points, and he mentioned Alan Hart scoring a lot of points. And I know he mentioned Connor Flynn by name and said he looked really good. So I would say those 3 won. We don't know who they wrestled, though.
We're not sure. We're not entirely sure. We're not sure who won. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe they'll release the tapes, release the files, release the results. So, I did not know that Connor Brown was at Missouri. It makes sense that he would wind up there. I guess he was able to transfer. It is his 3rd D1 school in around less than a year, approximately.
It's impressive.
It's not easily done. So, I don't know if it's going to be him or Alan Hart, who you mentioned previously, Bracky. I don't know a ton about Alan Hart, but I know Connor Brown is pretty freaking good. And if Alan Hart can beat Connor Brown, then I'd say Alan Hart's pretty dang good. But right now, I'd say Connor Brown, if he's going to wrestle this year, is going to be the starter. But who knows? I don't know if anyone has any insights as to.
No. I mean, like you said, bunch of transfers, so you kind of wonder if there's, eligibility or academic things. Can you wrestle this semester? Will he not be able to wrestle a second semester? He has to sit out a full year? So, lot of question marks there, but if he can start for them, they should at least have an option. Unless Alan Hart
is just better.
Beat up on him in the wrestle-off.
Looking at Hart's results last year, he's 13-6, but a lot of the losses were he split with Todd Small. He lost to Austin Gomez by a point.
Todd not Small.
Lost to Chaz Tucker, Derek Spann, who both qualified for NCAAs. Lost to Cam Kelly. They had him up at 41 for a few things. So, not terrible results.
That's solid. Yeah, he might be their guy. 41, Grant Leith. 49, Brock Mahler. 57, Jarrett JQ. 65, Peyton Mako. 74, Connor Flynn. 84, Wiseman or Canton Marriott. 97, Wyatt Cooling. And 285, Zach Elam. So that's their roster. That's my approximate guess of who's going to be starting for them. And their tournament schedule is not very tournament-y. They're going to the Southeast Open and Lindenwood Open, both in November,
That's
I think.
crazy.
Yep, no multi-day situations there for as far as tournaments go. Their dual schedule is really tough. Virginia Tech, Illinois, Cornell, Lehigh, NC State, UNI, Oklahoma State, Arizona State, Iowa State, and almost all of those are all out of conference teams. So they're going to be Brian Smith schedules tough duels, does every single year, and this year's no different. So they're going to be certainly tested. It's just always, when they don't have the multi-day weigh-in, it just puts it in the back of your mind, how's this going to work out?
They seem to change their schedule the most of just about any consistently top 10 team. Sometimes they'll go to CKLV, sometimes they'll go to Scuffle, sometimes they won't go to a tournament like they're doing this year, and they'll just schedule really hard duels, and they'll kind of change who they wrestle. They seem to have the most schedule variance of anyone that's consistently at that high level.
I think I would agree with that. I would agree. So,
very, very young team. So just 2 seniors, 74 Connor Flynn, 84 Dylan Wisman, and
from Virginia.
Wisman, a 1-time qualifier, Flynn, a 2-time qualifier. Both of them 1 and 2 in all of their NCAA tournament appearances. So conceivably could be looking at a very strong team next year. As you said, they have a lot of 125s. I think Bader still has eligibility left, along with Punky, Valdivia, Severado, and Certain. And the oldest one of those guys is a sophomore, so they're just going to have to keep fighting that out for a while, unless one of them separates, like maybe Punky, as Bracky said. Good class coming in. That's kind of a Missouri at this point. They just kind of always bring in good classes.
Yeah.
Trey Crawford, Josh Edmond, Rocky Elam, Colton Hawks, and Keegan O'Toole. A lot of those guys have very good freestyle accolades, Fargo and stuff. So, but Missouri keeps talent home. They do an incredible job of that. And once again, Elam, Crawford, Hawks, all Missouri guys that'll be coming in for them.
Where do you see Keegan? Obviously, I think we all think he's going to have a really nice career. I certainly do. What weight do you see for him?
Same as his mentor, 174.
Benjamin Askren?
Mm-hmm.
174.
Because here's the thing.
I don't
know if he's that big, personally.
I know. At one point I thought he'd be that big, and maybe
I think right now he's like a 57.
Here's my thing, though. He has of all the guys at who's number 1, he looked like he still had the most room to grow in terms of his body can develop in a college weight room. That's why I think he's gonna get big. And I also don't think he's super big on cutting weight.
He has the frame. He certainly has the frame to do it. But remember, he wrestled. What did he wrestle? 52 at Fargo, and he weighed in under. He walks around at 57. So he would be a 49 if he was in college this year.
Yeah. So I think he's a long way off from being a 74. You think about how big these dudes are. Okay. We're getting secret messages on our monitor. Check my Slack, CP. All right, I need to do. It's actually working good. Okay. let's keep going. Next up, Bracky, talk a little about Missouri.
I'm most excited to see what Peyton Mako is. I think he really turned some heads at Flow Nationals a few years ago when he almost beat Sammy Sasso, and I believe he beat David Carr last year, right?
He did.
Yeah. So really excited to see what he is. Missouri has a long track record of these freshmen coming out and tearing it up. But yeah, just another solid Missouri squad from top to bottom that's going to be in a trophy hunt in March.
Wait a second. My brain's scrambled. Peyton Mako, he was in high school last year?
No. He redshirted. So he hit up 3 opens, Cyclone, Roger Dinker, and the Missouri Valley Open. He only lost to Isaiah Lullen, who is from Fort Hays State. Not familiar with his work. And he had 2 medical forfeits.
Llewellyn?
Oh, it could be Llewellyn.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess it was 2 years ago that was his breakout, right? His Flow Nationals, and then Fargo. I think he took 3rd or 5th or something. That was a big one. Yeah, I'm interested in Peyton Mako too. I think it's a pretty. I mean, it's going to be really good in dual meets, and at number 6, they're in the tier to contend for a title. I think it's such a interesting squad, interesting tier that's going to be in contention for like the 4th spot, the 4th podium spot, and I think it's super deep from these guys at 4, 5, 6 all the way down to like teams ranked 12th and 15th. Christian, what do you think? What do you think about their team podium aspiration, podium potential?
I think they're in the mix, but I think it's going to be tough. I don't see. I mean, even if Mahler is just the truth, we talk a lot about bullets. I just don't know if they have a lot of guys I could see the potential to really explode into another tier. Mako could be one of those guys. Then again, I didn't see Mahler coming a year ago. I mean, I think we all thought Mahler would be good, and then we heard preseason about this time last year. Whoa, this kid just beat Grant Leith in the wrestle-off. That was like when we first heard about Mahler. Like really, okay, kind of putting him in that tier. But so I'm looking at. It's interesting you bring up the trophy race, because based on the current Flow rankings, which are just you project out the tournament points based on the finish, no bonus. Here's just the team points their score. First place is at 119.5. Second place is at 103. Third place 49.
Yeah.
So and then it goes 49, 46, 46, 44, 42, 41, 40, 39, 37, 36 and a half, 36. So it's like that was like 10 teams
that
are
super
all
compact.
And so what you have to ask is like, okay, sure, you can be 42 points is not getting you third, right? 60 points is probably not getting you third. So they're going to have to move up a lot more. And Mahler's already at the 2 spot. I don't see Elam as a guy that can get much higher than he is currently, given how tough heavy. I think he's got a great shot at placing for sure. But I think Flynn is currently getting 7th place points. I think that is like somewhat charitable, really, given his ledger. So I don't see him placing much more than 7th right now. Could JQ's break out? Could Mako just be the truth year 1 right away? That's possible. Could Leith? If Leith is a legit title contender, which I think we think he is, but it is a little, there's so many health questions with Grant. Grant's just battled staying healthy, and he's going to be ginormous for this weight. I think Grant is a super disciplined guy and really about his business, so he's going to do it the right way. But those biceps need food, right?
The 1 year that Leith was healthy, that he made it through the whole year, he placed.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of but then there's been 3 years where he hasn't made it through the year.
Yeah.
As you're saying, Mahler, I'm working on 149 preview right now, and I don't. It's Mahler's going to have to make a little bit of a jump. I mean, 149 is so wide open that it's very conceivable that he's able to do that. But as you're saying,
only lost to 3 people last year.
Yeah, he lost to
Dagan
twice.
Kolodzik, Dagan, and O'Connor.
Yeah.
He also beat Dagan at NCAs.
Whereas you look at some of the teams around him, Wisconsin, right? You feel really good about Gross getting you 20 points. Arizona State, you feel really good about Tahiti getting you 20 points, right? Oklahoma State has bullets. Minnesota, you feel good about Gable getting you 20 points. If Missouri wants to make a podium run, it might be a 10-man effort where everybody wins a match and they got to get like 5 or 6 guys on the podium in that 5 through 8 range.
I think that's tough. I mean,
it's extremely tough. But I'm saying that's their path.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, so here's their 5. It's Leith, Mahler, Flynn, Elam, and maybe JQs would be the ones you would say, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Well, theoretically, Mahler's ranked second, so that's 17, I believe, 17 points. And if he can do that,
and he's gonna score bonus. He's amazing on top.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of Ironman in him.
That's another thing.
I think it's JQ's and I think it's that middle there. JQ's, Mako, Flynn.
They're also redshirting their guy that would probably be the favorite to win a title this year. Now, it makes sense for their lineup in one way in that you don't lose a year of Grant Leith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm at this point saying, Mahler's surpassed Grant Leith. So Leith would not be able to start if Ironman was wrestling this year. So it makes sense. But this is the year that Ironman could win very, very legitimately.
Did Grant Leith wrestle at Who's Number One?
I think he did. Did he wrestle
pretty
Manville?
sure he wrestled. Listen, there is two guys from Who's Number One year one that are still D1 eligible.
Johnny.
I mean, that is
Johnny Sebastian.
That's impressive.
Michael Pixley technically might still be D1 eligible too.
Possibly.
It's true.
So when Ironman comes back next year, do they go him and Leith 41, 49 some option, and then redshirt Mahler to get them all through the?
That they could do that. I could see a bumping situation with Mahler. I think he's just like rangy. I don't know if he's cutting a lot, but he looks like a guy that could go up.
But then you got, I think it's fair to do with JQs and Mako and yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have some dudes. Maybe Leith can go down to 33.
Leith wrestled at the first Who's Number One in 2013 at 145 pounds against Mason Manville.
Hey!
Lost 3-1 in sudden victory.
I have memory.
I was going back just randomly last night, the Hayden Hidley, Mason Manville. I forgot how many times those guys wrestled. It was like 6 or 7, including a journeyman like right before Who's Number One. Anyway.
Well, yeah, and they wrestled at Fargo twice, I think, that year. Both styles. But, if Yanni comes back at 49, if I'm Ironman, I'm going down. You got a great shot, great shot at a title at 41.
Yeah.
As opposed to rolling the dice with Yanni at 49, and it's probably better for their team, so we'll see.
Yeah, I wonder if Yanni would go up or stay, or I don't know what'll make the most sense for Cornell either.
I mean, it's not definitive, but I heard Yanni 49 when he comes back.
Okay.
Because Saunders, Yanni, somebody. Who's 57? Somebody good at 57 too.
Okay. So this team, they're ranked 7th right now. They're in striking distance. It's just tough to see a lot more points for these guys without. I mean, things change, right? There could be dudes that just emerge, and Punky could just be a guy. But based on the information we have right now, I'm having a hard time seeing this team get into that trophy point scoring range. But once again, they're always going to have a tough team, and they're redshirting their best wrestler, right? So if you're in the trophy conversation, you're redshirting your best wrestler, you're doing things right.
Well, and that's, we've talked about this a lot, right? Like, there's these jumps that teams can make, and one of the hardest ones is from 5, 6, 7 into not just trophy contention in a given year, but like consistent trophy contention.
Yeah.
Like that is a hard jump to make, and it's also, Coach Smith hasn't let the team fall off from that 5, 6, 7 range either.
No.
Right? So they've stayed in that range. So while I'm sure Missouri fans want them to jump in, there's also, there's a lot of teams trying to claw into that top 10. They're trying to take them out, and they've been right around that like 5th or 6th best team.
Yeah, and they quietly do a good job recruiting.
Yeah.
They don't have like these giant. They don't have these giant number 1 classes or anything, but they have these like top 10-ish recruiting classes, and their attrition rate is low. They're plugging guys in and they're working kind of right away. Elam, as a freshman, really solid. That Peyton Mako had a great year in redshirt. I mean, they're having guys come in, and they're panning out for the most part. Yeah.
They're several deep at quite a few of these weights. So yeah, going to be a good team this year. Going to be fun to watch the Tigers. We should what we should do a little bit, Bracky. Maybe you could help with this. When we should have been doing this all along, but when you can watch these guys live on FloWrestling.org, because I know we'll have them at the Southeast Open.
Their schedule.
Their UNI duel. I know we'll have that.
Lindenwood.
No.
Oh, they're not.
We don't have that this year, I don't think.
Yes, we do.
You sure?
Positive.
Wow. Breaking. We have
wow.
Lindenwood.
We have the Southeast Open. We have Lindenwood.
We got Lindenwood.
Northern Iowa. We actually have their duel at Kent State as well. And I think that's it.
Cool. All right, so a fair amount of Tiger style for you. Next up, led by 6-time world and Olympic champion. You may know him as the GOAT. To Willie, it's just Coach Smith. To me, it's just a guy I'm kind of scared of. The Oklahoma State Cowboys, and similar situation, redshirting their best guy, Dayton Fix, their highest returning place getter. So here's their lineup. 125 pounds, number 4, Nick Piccinini. 33, we believe, will be Reese Whitcraft. 41, number 10, Caden G-Feller. I forget where we landed on that eventually. We'll go G-Feller. 149, Bulu Allen. 57, Andrew Shomers, who is not ranked, which I'm not sure why he's not ranked. So maybe have to have a quick huddle up and figure out why that is. 65, Travis Whitlake. 74, Joe Smith. Please wrestle 174, Joe Smith. I think you can win a title there, buddy. 184, Dakota Gear. 197, Anthony Montalvo. 285, Neil Putnam. Their schedule is as follows. Southern Scuffle. And then their duels, that's their only tournament, really. Duels, there's open the season, live on Flow against Drexel. They'll also wrestle Minnesota, who they always wrestle in November. It's one of the, I think pretty much every year, it's the first legit D1 duel every single year. It's always 2 really good teams. It's in the first 2-3 weeks of the season. Always love that. They wrestled Lehigh, Oklahoma, UNI, Iowa State, SDSU, Missouri, and Iowa. So a tough dual slate there for Coach Smith and company. Thoughts on this team, which currently sits, I'll pull it up here, how far behind or in front of. They are 2.5 points ahead of Missouri and 2 points behind the next team we'll talk about, Arizona State and Wisconsin, because those 2 are tied. So right there in the mix. I like this team, and in terms of bullets, I'm seeing a lot more here than I did with Missouri, because I think Pitch, we know his potential, right? We've seen him beat the guy. G, I think we know what he could be, what he was. I don't. The end of his season, was it injury? Was he too small? I don't think he was too small. I just think of something else going on there. Just had
he was banged up.
Bad finish to his year, but we saw what he did a lot of the year. He beat some good dudes. What
was weird, or not weird, but jumped off the page at me. He got injured in a duel. Hold on, I'll look it up. It was before the Missouri duel. It was a match before the Missouri duel. So, no, he got hurt, I believe. Against, he wrestled Max Thompson, then he wrestled Skyler from Lehigh, and then he wrestled Air Force. In one of those matches, he got hurt, and then he took the mat against Mahler. No, not Mahler. It was, Mahler. And remember, he almost looked like he was just trying to not get majored.
Yeah.
Remember how weird that match was?
That was a bizarre match.
He just kind of, and then it was kind of obvious to me that he was just trying to get through matches because he was injured.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that.
But
I'm sure that the G-feller we saw.
He won Big 12s. He beat Olivas and Jared Deegan. Yeah. So it doesn't exactly map to me that. I mean, he could have been hurt at the time. There was something up when that Mahler match was bizarre, and I think Mahler's probably better anyways. But he beat Thompson, he beat Fine-Silver. He had a really solid year. He was undefeated till January 12th, and he also had an undefeated redshirt season too. So he hadn't lost in like a year and a half, and he beat Nick Lee the year before. That was going through the
scuffle twice. Yeah.
Yeah, he's 2-time scuffle champ. So I don't know. G's an interesting one for me. But everyone says 41 is going to be a better natural weight for him. I tend to agree. The guy that I think Nomad's picking at 141, Nick Lee, is someone we watched G pin in a great scuffle final. He can clearly go with these guys at 141. I think he's a legit title contender at that weight. And when you talk about bullets, I mean, that's a guy that's getting 10th place points right now that – he could be top 4 very reasonably. Mm-hmm. So with him, and also someone which transitions well to the other guy whose potential is just like, especially out of the Oklahoma State room, is just off discussed and lauded. Bulu Allen, who is just, the team just reveres this guy for how good he is and the things he's able to do in the room, but hasn't translated in completely on the mat in matches. Through a combination of injury and a little bit of opportunity difficulty because he's behind Dean Heil for a couple of years. So, but Bulu Allen back in the mix if he's healthy. Can he beat an Austin O'Connor, a Brock Mahler? I don't think many people will say no.
He's one of the best in the country in all of D1 wrestling at getting in on attacks. Now, if he can up his finish rate, that's really scary. But, yeah, I think, just like G at 10, Boo at 7 is not ranked in a position where that's like the max points,
Yeah. So, here's the guys ranked ahead of Boo. Lugo, Sasso, Zach Earl, Deegan, Mahler, O'Connor. I mean, you throw those in a round robin, he's going to – I think he wins more matches than he loses.
Yeah, right? I do too.
Similar to Leith, the one time that he has wrestled a full season, was healthy, he placed.
Mm-hmm. He was 8th.
Right.
Though. So, now, there are some guys looming behind him that are really good, like a Brayton Lee. Mm-hmm. But, which is a match we'll get early.
Oh.
That's a tasty treat.
That's salty. We like that.
We'll learn a lot about Brayton and Boo in early November. Wow.
We like that a lot.
Yep. Collectively.
Okay, so looking at who they got coming in, I think everyone will have them. Number 1, the recruiting rankings. Jason Burks, Trevor Master Giovanni, Luke Serber, Dustin Plott, AJ Ferrari, Connor Doucette. That is quite a haul. All of those guys are top 100 on the big board. Doucette, who is a Super 32 finalist, is the lowest at 78. All the rest of those guys are top 30, top 35. And it's kind of good because they got some money coming off the books, right? Pitch, Boo, Shomers, and Joe Smith are all seniors this year, so going to clear up. But they thought they were going to lose Cade in terms of he was graduating, but now he's going to have to come back, so that's going to be interesting. And in addition to Cade coming back, they're going to have Dayton coming back. And then among freshmen who are redshirting, Balmaceda could factor in somewhere over the next few years. So
he's a true freshman this year, right?
Brevin?
Mm-hmm. Brevin.
Yeah. So they've got a lot of reinforcements still coming through the chute. Obviously at 285, they got putting him in Austin Harris, who's Austin, I imagine, is Cowboy bulk job status. They're trying to grow him in.
Do you think he might be the guy, not Putnam? What do we think there?
That's definitely possible. And then I imagine, Ferrari or Doucette. I know Ferrari wants to be heavyweight. I still think he's a 97. I think Connor's a bigger body
he's
there.
He's currently an 84.
That's the thing. I don't know how he ends up at heavyweight.
I've been over the place with his weight, and I think he is too. I mean, not in his head, he's always been a heavyweight, I believe, but his injury really made things cloudy because he was he got really small, and now he's really big again. I mean, 215.
Okay. Yeah, he'll be a tweener, but I think he'll be fine either way. If he's up to 215 now. Yeah. So, all right, let's talk a little this back to back here of Whitlake, Joe Smith, Dakota Gear. Whitlake didn't have a great redshirt year. His freestyle results a little mixed. Any murmurings of what we could see from Travis Whitlake? Obviously, a really highly ranked guy, cadet world medalist, etc. What do we think for him this year?
I don't know. I mean,
he's one of those guys for me, Willie. We were talking about, okay, this guy's on, and you just want to see where he's at. He's one of those guys for me. Where is Travis Whitlake at?
Very true. I want to see where he's at as well. I don't know. He could be. We talk about the points that they have, and the points where they're slotted. Lee Wallen not at his max. G definitely not at his max. If they get some contribution from Whitlake, they could really make a push there. But his freestyle results weren't his best ever the last year, and his folk style collegiate record last year was his schedule wasn't really robust, so it's tough to gauge where he's at. I don't know if Nomad has any particular feelings on that.
I think, and I want to get into his freestyle results here in a second. I think Travis Whitlake, not unlike a bunch of guys before him, had a fantastic high school career, and then got up kind of in that top spot and either hit a plateau or and just like it's hard to be that good for that long, right? And then you go into college and it's like, okay, I've been the man, and now I'm getting the crap kicked out of me by Joe Smith every day, right? And you got to relearn to be the man again, And I think so. He just went through some growing pains that a lot of really good 17, 18, 19-year-old wrestlers go through, and I think he's come out of that, and now this is, as a redshirt freshman, this is now kind of his time to show, hey, I got through all that. I'm good to go now. I'm ready to make an impact for the Cowboys. Looking at his open, so he beat up on Zach Hartman, Patty Gallagher, and DJ Shannon, right? Gallagher and Shannon. Shannon sort of still in high school. Lost to Danny Bronigal and Nelson Brands. That was at the open.
Oh, great.
And then at trials, lost to Phil Canigliaro twice, beat Aaron Bancroft and DJ Shannon.
So one thing I want to, and I don't know if this is an Oklahoma State specific thing, but this could be just totally anecdotal, but I feel like they've had guys that don't have great redshirt seasons there that the next year they're just ready to contribute. Dean Heil lost to Nick Anderson, Andrew Atkinson, and Brendan Murphy his redshirt year, right? Mm-hmm. No relative wins whatsoever. The next year he was fourth. The year after that he won, and then he won again. So you don't always know what's going on with a guy, how they're really optimized for their redshirt competitions and even freestyle.
That's a good point.
So that could be a one-off example, but I feel like it's happened other times at Oklahoma State. I'm just not remembering quite correctly.
It's also something, when you do redshirt reports, which Spay ended up doing all this year, but then you come back around, you do previews, and you're looking at an impact freshmen, right, the guys who are redshirt, right, not the true freshmen, and you go through their schedule, and you're like, yeah, they only wrestled 8 D1 guys, right? Like last year, Whitlake, it's only D1 matches. Jaron Curry, Logan Schumacher, Kevin G. Schwenter, Anthony Lombardo, Selden Wright, Cole Moody, Cole Pruitt. He lost to Wright, and then he also lost to Abner Romero of Fresno City College. So he only had 7 matches against D1 guys. He went 6-1 in those matches. And then I just mentioned his freestyle. So he's still pretty green in terms of super high-level matches against other college D1 guys.
Stephen Kyle Brackey, you need to give it to me. What's going on? I see you working. You chatting with the people? What's going on?
No, I'm actually working on that Ohio State wrestle-off article.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But I'm really excited to see Reese Whitcraft. that kid. That kid's a savage.
He is a savage.
He's gonna throw the kitchen sink at you, and he's gonna be a lot of fun to watch this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little like your boy Demas, huh?
Oh, like, baby. Don't tease me.
He flies all over the place, and you wonder what you're going to get. And, he really didn't do much in his high school career until his senior year. And then you were like, dang.
Who are some of his greatest hits? Who are some of the dudes he's beaten?
Did he beat Van Ness?
No.
I thought he did.
He was up big on Van Ness.
He was putting on Van Ness, and then Van Ness did Van Ness things.
Yeah.
At Geary.
That was at Geary because Whitcraft was at 26 for Ironman and 32 later.
Mm-hmm.
I think he beat Kolioko.
Yep.
Whoa.
So
that's eye-opening.
Yeah.
Everyone says that kid's just going to be the truth this year at 25.
He is. I believe so. And then so he beats Kolioko and wins Ironman, and then is up big on Van Ness and loses. And so I don't know. You kind of wonder, like, how good is he? Is he, can he wrestle hard 7-minute matches? Because Van Ness kind of faded him, but Van Ness kind of fades everybody. But then
it's
he goes
not a
to
ding
the room.
on your cardio if Van Ness gets you tired anymore.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to. You can't be mad at him for being out of shape or anything. He's just wrestling Shane Van Ness, and it's just a different sort of being.
Yeah. So I was like, going into the season, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what Whitcraft will be. He could be really good. He could be average. He could be solid. And we probably won't know for a while because they have a million good lightweights, and then Dayton announces he's going to take an Olympic, and then the reports out of the room are, hey, who are they going with? Well, it's probably going to be Whitcraft because he is looking great. So
wow. That's exciting.
Well, it's also like, when the plan was probably originally to redshirt and then
Wrestle
a guy
Cade.
gets hurt,
Yeah.
then, so now obviously it happened early enough that he could prepare himself, right? It wasn't like November, 20th or whatever.
Yeah.
Where the plan. So he's had time, but there is still a bit of a curve where, this is a plan, then it gets changed. Whitcraft wrestled Kolioko in Fargo finals too.
Who won?
That was Kolioko.
That was Kolioko.
Yeah, so he got revenge for that one.
So an exciting team. How do you see their them finishing up? Is this a trophy? Is this a trophy team?
I think it could be. I think they're definite. I think they're ranked 6, and I think their floor is probably 6. No, I mean not their floor, but reasonable expectations. It could be Sometimes we've seen Oklahoma State have bad NCAA tournaments, and so you don't want to say they're locked in there, but reasonable expectations I think is 6. Do we know for sure that it's going to be Gear 84 Montalvo 97?
Gear said in the media thing, little media day they had last week, that Coach Smith wants him at 84.
Gotcha.
I would listen.
Montalvo's another interesting guy to me. I hated him in high school, and then I loved him in high school, and then I
Jesus.
You hated him?
Yeah. Yep.
What did he do?
There was a point in time where I thought.
Did he call you bald or something?
No, he loves me. He loves me. Like, I didn't say it publicly. I never said it publicly.
Just did.
Well, this would be.
Now he's gonna hate you.
No, he's not, because I love him. Now I love him. But there was a point in time. My perspective on him changed like 180 degrees, because when he was like a freshman and sophomore, and maybe even a junior, I was like, this is one of those kids. And I'll say it. This is one of those Cali kids that wins on talent, and if he gets pushed late, he doesn't wrestle hard for 6 minutes. There's a lot of California kids like that. And then I saw him his senior year, and I went 180 degrees. I went, this kid wrestles like a beast. There's kids that are like, he's winning matches not on talent. He's winning on guts and heart, and I love that. And yeah, that was my final assessment by the time he graduated, and I was really high on him then coming out, and I think he had a pretty strong year. What did he do last year in redshirt? No, man.
In redshirt last year, he was 18-3 overall, but again, only 6 matches against D1 guys.
That was at 84?
That was at 84, 84 the whole year.
Yeah.
And that was across 3 opens in Reno TOC.
I think he could turn some heads. I think he's going to have a really solid season no matter what weight he's at. And I don't know, can he place? I don't know. That's going to be tough, but there's a lot of young guys that also did great things last year or give you a lot of reason to be hopeful. Tanner Sloan's of the world and, those kind of guys, Davison. So it's going to be hard, but I think they can get some miles there out of Montalvo.
I think this team.
Go
ahead.
Sorry. Remember when Coach Smith was half pissed off at one of his 84 pounders?
Yeah.
Yep.
Gosh.
Yeah, but who was that?
Keegan Moore.
That was Keegan Moore, yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
That would stink. There's not a worse doghouse to be in than that one. So I think if you look around the teams that they're going to be competing with for the trophy spot, Wisconsin, Arizona State, Missouri, I think they're right there with these teams. And in terms of the upside to get more points, I really like this team. So let's go to Arizona State, where they are going to roll out 10 dudes that we all know that have had really good high school careers. Some of them have had good collegiate success. So I'm excited for this team because it has a lot of talent and potential. But here we go. And you best believe this team's going to roll out their best possible lineup. 125, some combination of Brandon Courtney or Nick Raymond. What'd you say? Combination of woman and a child. 33-41 is some combination of Buziello Klebov, I believe. 49 Maruka, 57 Teamer, 65 Shields, 74 Anthony Valencia, 84 Zahid, 97 Cordell Norfleet, who's unranked, which I believe is an outrage, and 285 Tanner Hall, MD. So
it sounds like you have issues with Spey, with Shomers and Norfleet.
Shomers had some not good losses.
No,
last year.
Shomers is possibly justifiable, as is Norfleet. I'm just saying it's still an outrage, even if it's the right ranking. It's an outrage. I'm outraged, and I'm okay to do that. Okay, so this team, 25. I don't see major production coming out, even though they're going to have a dude. I think Ramo's super talented, but still a project offensively. I think what we saw in high school is like great athlete, good defensively, good position, but needs a leg attack. So he's going to, I would assume he's in a similar situation. We haven't really seen Nick much recently, right? And then Courtney was Courtney last year. And then Klebov is someone I think if we're looking for a guy that's unranked right now that could score some serious points, I think it's Klebov.
I picked him to place in my preview.
Whoa. At which weight?
I love him.
33? So that will put Buziello at 41, which I think is a stretch. I think that makes more sense for Adam.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that big. I know he cut down like a ridiculous amount of weight to make a really lightweight Super 32 every year, but I didn't think that was because he was a 41-pounder type of guy. Do you?
Yeah. Well, we used to get in arguments about this. When he was committed to Penn State, it was like, he's going to be 25 at Penn State. I'm like, there's no way he's ever going to make 125 in college. He's going to be too big. He's going to continue growing. He's going to be a 41. Mm-hmm. That was a persistent argument we had.
Persistent.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good size-wise for 41, and I think that, like, now I've been told that Julian has put on some weight, put on some size, because I was sort of kind of surprised that he was even at that they were even listing him at 33. Because I thought for a year or two he could make 25. But they said he put on some size, and he's a good, solid 133 right now. So, but I don't think he's anywhere near 41. Of course, I haven't seen him since he left, but I could imagine him being a full size 41. So I think that is the best option. Julian at 33, Busiello at 41. I mean, Busiello looked fine size-wise against Aragona, who was a 2-year 138-pounder. Mm-hmm. And Aragona was good size-wise.
I don't know. He kind of got horsed.
Well, he's saying size-wise, though.
I
not
guess.
Strength-wise.
I guess.
JoJo's a horse.
Yeah. Not really. Not a horse. 49. So
that's calling him a donkey? Some kind
a burro. No. Also,
like a pony?
Speaking of, we're not going to get to Rutgers because they don't have a top 20 team currently. But are they going to wrestle him?
Should.
I don't know. They got some.
I think they were strongly leaning
guys.
towards it, but now with the with Nikki Redshirt, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they hold them both out until Nick's triumphant return second semester, if that happens.
Yeah, they got a lot of options.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought in a lot of good youngsters. They got three big boarders right there, in Devin Britton, JoJo Aragona, and Matt Vulak. Do they run them out right away, or do they redshirt them a year and when they might have a better team next year?
The thing with, and it applies to ASU too, right? Because if they roll out Ramo and Klebov right away. I was talking to coach yesterday, and my thing has long been, if they're the best guy, if they're ready to go, run them out right away. Save that red shirt for later in their career to give their body a break. And what he was saying changed my perspective too. It wasn't just giving their body a break. It's how many of these kids go into Division I wrestling knowing how to actually train and get better and maximize their use of a redshirt year as an 18-year-old true freshman, as opposed to a 21-year-old where they've been in the program a few years.
That I've never heard before in my life.
Yes, and I was like, holy crap, that now I'm even more strong about certain guys going right away.
Yeah.
And so, if JoJo is like that, where it's like he's chomping at the bit, he's ready to go, and the same thing applies to Julian and Ramo, and they're ready to go, run them out, right? Get them up to speed on the training, get them use them while their bodies are good, and then when they need a break later on mentally, physically, when they can maximize their training, redshirt them, a year or two down the line.
And I think if you start them right away, then they know. I mean, the elite guys, then they know what college wrestling is. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, college coaches could tell me otherwise, but I'm not sure that a blue chipper coming in and redshirting for a year, I don't think that's the same as wrestling and knowing you're going out and compete and knowing at the end of the year you're gonna try to become an All-American. I don't know. So they don't even know really what full college wrestling is and expectations are until a full another year, right? So
yeah,
throw them in the fire and see, get them up to speed.
As far as upside, I think Anthony Valencia up at 174. Heard great things about his redshirt year last year. Excited to see him in the mix at 174, a weight where his brother has been dominant. Has been the top dog there. Now, see, he goes up to 84, where I think we're saying it's
next topic.
Next topic. Is he our next topic? Is he the number one next topic guy, or is Seth Gross next topic?
Well, I just think even with the Olympic red shirts, 133 is still on paper right now looks tougher than 184 on paper. 2 through 12.
2 through 12. Okay.
Like the 184s that are behind Zahid as compared to 33s behind Seth.
Yeah, probably definitely true. So he's a next topic guy. I've always been pretty high on Cordell Norfleet. I think him at 97 is exciting.
Who's currently ranked number 1 pound for pound? Is it Zahid?
Seth Gross.
Seth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see a case for either. But I would agree with that. I would maybe agree with Seth being number 1 pound for pound because Zahid lost to Daniel Lewis, I think.
And Mark Hall.
Yeah. So I agree with that. But I still think Zahid would be the number 1 next topic, if that makes any sense.
Biggest favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even saying that about 33, like, I know it is always, even with how good guys come in nowadays, you know.
I mean, if Dayton I guess if Soriano's at 33, then okay, I would agree with that. But if Soriano doesn't come back, Dayton's gone, Pletcher's up. Not that I really think Pletcher would be on Seth's level. I don't know. I think he's the next topic. This guy turns everybody. He turns basically everyone. Did he have one match at NCAAs last year where he didn't turn somebody?
Well, 2018, you mean?
You know, the one he wrestled in.
Yeah, I think maybe the next topic. I mean, the guys that are behind him, which are Roma Bravo, Young, Mickey Philippi, I have Ridge Lovett, Austin
DeSanto.
Gomez, Teasdale, Tucker. If DeSanto's there, yeah. You're right. They're not in his tier. That's a 1 tier weight. You're right. However, to me, I think the injury and we haven't seen him in a year thing kind of is the only thing that makes it maybe not next topic. It's probably next topic.
I just have no thoughts that the injury is going to be in any way a factor. That's just my opinion.
Fair enough.
So
looking at Seth's 2018 NCAAs, he turned Matthew Schmidt, he turned Tariq Wilson, and he turned Stevan Micic. He did not turn Mitch McKee or Montoya Bridges. However, he got riding time on both of them.
he didn't turn them.
That is correct.
What were the finals there?
13-5 and 7-3. He took Mitch McKee down.
Oh yeah, McKee wrestles him tough.
3, 4, 5 times.
Wow.
And he took.
It's amazing how good he is on his feet too.
That's the thing.
it's like
People very underrate his neutral.
He goes out and gets the first takedown like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another way he's maybe a little more next topic-y because Zahid is like just going to trash you on your feet. He is just better than you on your feet. He's amazing defensively, and he can take you down 36 different ways. He's good, he's not Seth Gross on top, right? And he's going to kick and look away. Now, he could reach another level and improve from the top position. But I just think Seth is probably that number 1 pound for pound. But it's a good battle.
I want to finish off the Arizona State, though, because I want to justify my Klebov pick.
You justify.
So you got this good group at the top, right? We're talking about Gross as potentially next topic, and then DeSanto and/or Teasdale, RBY, Philippi Gomez, coming down. Montori's previously placed. Chaz has been 1 and 2 every time he's gone to NCAAs, and then you have a bunch of career good not great guys who it's their senior year, so could they make, a Heilman jump, a Ronnie Perry jump, right? We've seen guys do that in their senior year when it's like, all right, it's time to go. But it's Gonzer, Sakura, Fellman, and then juniors, Derek Spann, Dylan Duncan, Paul Conrath, right? That's your 8 through 13. Skill for skill,
Julian.
I still would pick Julian over them. Now, however, again, those guys are seniors, have been through 4 or 5 years of college wrestling. They've been through battles like grown men. Can Julian, hang on to that for 3 days in March? I don't know. But at this time, skill for skill, I like Julian over those guys.
I like the pick. I really do. I don't think it's crazy. I see it. I don't know why I have a different reaction to Julian than I did Ridge Lovett. I don't know why. Kyle Brackey, do you know why I feel that way? I'm not sure why, but I do.
No, I don't. Maybe more folk style results.
Yeah, maybe it's that.
That and just I say this about Dark Knight's kids all the time. It's why I feel really confident that Sammy's going to do amazing. It's why I feel really confident that Julian's going to, when you look at why Dark Knight's kids are good, it's because they're good at wrestling. They are good at wrestling technique. They're good at wrestling skill. They know how to win matches. It's not because they're freaks. It's not because they're physical freaks. Because they're more mature. It's because they know how to wrestle.
I mean, he's good on top. He's a really good scrambler.
Yeah.
He's got offense.
All those things
crazy.
translate.
Right. they're going to translate really well. It's not like he needs to go in a college room and learn how to turn or learn how to scramble or develop more offense because he already has it.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
And he has a very folk style specific style.
Correct.
He's basically, I've never heard of him wrestling.
He's basically, only wrestled folk style.
Yeah.
So, that's Arizona State. Where do we see this team fit? Go ahead.
Tanner Hall.
Oh.
I graduated high school in 2010.
Uh-huh.
Tanner Hall graduated high school in 2011.
Uh-huh.
I'm 27 years old, and I've been working here for 5 years.
About to have a kid?
I am less than a year older than Tanner Hall. He is still in college.
So, while he may have had, on paper, a better wrestling career, you have quite a jump professionally.
Yeah.
And
Wait a second.
And child-wise as well.
You graduated college, which is minimum 4 years, and then been working here for 5 years, and he's still in college.
Yes.
That is the sentence he said. And it is true. Kyle just had his 5th year here.
So he went Mormon,
Mormon.
OTC,
Two
Mormon,
years.
2 year Mormon trip,
No.
OTC year, regular redshirt year, Olympic redshirt year, and then 4 regular varsity years.
At some point. Now, I think the order's a little, I think he was OTC, then 2-year Mormon mission.
Yeah, I think he did a year at the OTC.
Then he
before
wrestled
went to Uganda.
Then he wrestled like 2 years, took a year here.
Took a year there.
Year there, gap year.
Did he not beat Kyle Snyder one year?
That was in like 2011.
Yeah, 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
11 or 12 at junior nationals.
It would have had to have been 12
yeah, it
because
was 2012.
Snyder won in 13, was on the team again in 14, so it would have had to been 12.
Yeah. So yeah, Kyle Brackey, greater than signed Tanner Hall in some ways. Possibly so.
Professionally.
Professionally, in terms of having it benefits and insurance, it's Kyle all the way.
So, where do you see? I mean, Tanner Hall, obviously a very solid heavyweight, and he's placed before and in the mix. So you have this young group of lightweights, 25, 33, 41. Then you have 49 through 84 that are all ranked, and really solid. Shields, Maruka, Teamer, and Zahid, one of the best pound for pound guys, and a really solid guy in Tanner Hall. Where do you see them finally placing their final placing? I mean, in a mix with teams like probably anywhere from 9 Nebraska to, I think we'd put them behind number 3 Iowa, Ohio State. What's their peak here?
Thinking about this, in Nebraska, I like Nebraska as much or more than any of the teams we've talked about today.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
No.
I don't think that team is.
Again, though, I go back to the national championship because it's the same thing as like why Penn State has always been able to separate at the top. Well, the same rule applies when you go down a tier. Having that guaranteed, or you feel guaranteed, 20 points.
Yeah, throw in 20 points.
So massive.
Yeah.
And I know that there's 9 other guys, but when you're like, well, Zahid's going to win.
There's 20. Yeah. No, I know. So, yeah. All right, so that's Arizona State. We didn't get to their schedule. Let's do that right now. They're doing, according to their schedule, I love this. Nomad loves this probably the most. They put the U.S. Open on their schedule.
Yeah, baby.
The USA Wrestling Freestyle tournament in Fort Worth, Texas.
I've never seen a
that.
Division I men's team do that. I frequently see it on like the women's teams because they typically build their schedule around like Dave Schultz and all those things. I've never seen it on a men's roster, so awesome. So
they have Cliff Keen, Reno, U.S. Open, Midlands, and in November they'll do Journeyman also. Forgot to mention that. They're doing the Classic and the duels. Their dual slate: Penn State, Ohio State, Iowa State, Stanford, Missouri, Lehigh, North Carolina, making for a pretty tough
After
schedule.
January, they're not home.
That's it.
They're on the road for the rest of the year.
Where's Pac-12's?
Road dogs.
Stanford.
Cow.
Oh my gracious.
So they've got this great January home schedule where they host Campbell, Iowa State, Harvard, Oregon State, Stanford. Then on the road, Little Rock, Missouri, Cal Poly, Bakersfield, Lehigh, North Carolina. Pac-12 is in Stanford, and NCAA's is in Minneapolis. Ugh.
All great.
Well, at least Minneapolis, Tempe, similar climates.
Very.
So they will be acclimated and ready for that.
Easy switch there.
So that's their schedule. That's Arizona State. It's the top.
That's it. I've never seen a team be on the road for a whole month.
No, pretty rare. So that's Sun Devils, good team. A lot of questions for that lineup. What they're going to look like. It'll be fun to see them at Journeyman. Because at the Classic is your individuals get a chance to kind of shine and step up, and we'll learn a lot about how, what is the Klebo of Buziello, what weight, one weight, but two just dynamic there. Exciting stuff. Now, it's 9:15 in the morning. Do we want to do Super 32, or do we want to go to questions from our friends?
I say Q's.
All right, quarterfinals.
Q's from F's.
Q's from F's.
F's.
Okay.
He's from Mavs.
You guys all want to do it, but you're chicken.
I started it.
Wow. He's the original singer of the song. Okay, just to put a matter to bed, I'll ask this question, and it'll be the end of it for me.
Thank God.
Who's the Lizzo of college wrestling this season?
Oh, man.
Consider this my retirement from weight talk, from size discussions all together. I got another earful after the show. You know what? I'm retired. I said my piece. You know where I stand, and I'm not talking about it anymore.
Who'd you get an earful from?
It doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter.
So basically,
someone I
you're
respect.
giving up fat girl.
Huh?
You're saying you're giving up fat girls? Is that what you're saying?
Bracky.
I mean,
I'm sorry, Bracky. This is my fault.
it sounds
It's
like
all my
that's
fault.
what
It's not
you're
your
doing.
fault. You were trying to stop.
I'm trying to retire. I'm retired, Willie. Don't try to suck me back in.
I am just trying to see if that's what you're saying.
You can't retire from something. Never mind. Bracky's Eagle statue. This is interesting. Compare Spencer Lee to Kyle Dake through 2 years of college. Will Spencer have 2 more undefeated seasons, possibly beat Fix 3 times to match Dake? So, it is interesting because Dake did lose matches his freshman and sophomore year. He lost to Humphrey, Bailey as a freshman, and he lost to LaValle and Donnie Vinson as sophomores. So he had some up and down. Really, the true freshman thing, he kind of got it together really well at the end there. But lost in the conference finals his sophomore year, but then undefeated. Really didn't have a super tough match apart from the David Taylor bouts, as I can recall, right? So could we see that with Spencer, where Spencer's had losses in both of his seasons, but he ends up winning? And could he reach a new level sort of consistency or whatever? Because I don't know if Dake was inconsistent. I think a lot of it was weight related or maybe something else. Who knows? I'm sure Kyle's talked about it. I'll chalk up his true freshman just to true freshman stuff probably. Sophomore year, I'll chalk that up to weight. So could we see that with Spencer, his junior and senior year, where he's just on lock, beating everybody, or is it going to be different?
The reason this question is interesting, you have probably the 2 most unique careers of since I've been following wrestling, in terms of Dake going up
every
year, and then having that rival his last year, and then Spencer just being this. Spencer Lee, the most covered, talked about, discussed wrestler, of all time.
Collegiately, I think that's.
Willie wrote an article about where he was going to high school, His college recruitment was heavily followed. Multiple-time age-level world champ. So to have that kind of pressure and then you go to the program, right, in terms of historical number one attendance for all the time they've been tracking the attendance. So you have all these eyeballs on you, and then you take some losses, but then you come through, and he is on pace to score over 100 career points at NCAAs, which is something only 3 or 4 other people have ever done. And then as the Eagle statue closed out, could he have this big rival at the end? Good job, Eagle statue, with Dayton Fix.
Yeah, that would be an interesting wrinkle if kind of close out Dake's career closed out with Taylor, who is the number one guy that could potentially dethrone him, and I think Dayton is probably that guy for Spencer. Right. Maybe that's Soriano. That's a question, but we've seen him beat Soriano in folk style. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen they've never wrestled folk style.
Right.
Now you would say a folk style match would favor Spencer based just on skill set, but it's Dayton Fix, right? The guy is just total winner all the way too. So it would be something if that's how his quest for 4 came down to him having to beat Dayton. I still think Dayton at 25 for that much time is really difficult. I think that's a thing for him, but
tough pull.
It would be a tough pull, but man, what a poetic way for it to go out if that's what they do. How it ends at 21.
I think a better way for it to go out and for it to be all over would be if Dayton wrestled 133 all year, entered his conference tournament at 125, and then the seeding committee made Dayton the 33, and they wrestled first round. That would be awesome.
That would be so cool. Just get it out of the way. We don't need that.
Guaranteed it'll happen.
Yeah, I hope not. So, good question. Did we answer it?
I don't have an answer.
Will they have 2 more undefeated seasons? I don't know. It's tough to say.
Well, Spencer.
It's tough to. That's a tough question.
Has never had an undefeated season, so you can't have 2 more. You can have 2.
That's the point.
Well, yeah. That's what he meant. 2 undefeated seasons. I'll say no. I think he'll probably drop one at some point. There's 2 guys out there that have beat him that are going to be on his schedule over the next 2 years. I mean, just going undefeated. I don't know. He could do it. He could just go on lockdown mode, but
he's so good.
I mean,
he's so good.
I would say
there's no match I'll pick him to lose, but it'll happen, right? It's just a possibility it'll happen.
I would say despite him losing in the past, I would say that he's likely to go undefeated, provided that there's no Dayton or Soriano that comes down. If the guys at 125 are the field for him currently, I would probably take him to go undefeated.
Even Rivera, who's got 2 wins over him last year.
Yeah.
Including him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, again, for context of that all-time point scoring, so 3 guys have scored over 100 points in NCAAs using adjusted. Ed Bannock 102.5, Logan Sieber 103.5, Cale Sanderson 107.5. Heading into this year, Spencer Lee 51.5 career points in NCAAs.
Whoa.
What?
Normally the freshman sophomore years it's harder because you're young, and also you never redshirted. By the by.
What?
Crazy. Insane. What? Okay. Does Caleb, my son, still talk about how Hidley beat Nolf last year in the semis? He has not brought that up recently. He is currently deep into baseball. He's all about the Astros currently, so he's on that kick right now. But trust and believe, he will be talking about that soon. It comes up whenever wrestling comes up.
Does he get to stay up and watch the games? They end pretty late.
Yeah, that's what I was.
So we DVR him. He was up. He's been pushing the bedtime the last couple nights, special occasion. So we let him stay up a little later, but the one night he just passed out on the floor, just dead to the world. And when we woke him up, he did not know what was happening or what was going on. He kept trying to go back downstairs. He's basically sleepwalking. But no, he's a big Hidley truther. He was not happy with how that went down. Okay. FRL rhyme time. Willie, would you be so kind to answer my question with mine? Would C Piles win via a pin versus you, the best of mankind? It's a great poem.
Is it a poem? Is it a question?
It is a question because it ends with a question mark.
Okay. Does that mean who would win in a battle of wits? Is that what that's
Would
asking?
I win via pin?
Oh, via pin. No.
I think if I can weather that storm. See, with someone like Ethan Lezak, you're trying to weather like the 3 to 5 minute storm. With you, that storm. How long is your storm? What kind of a storm? What's your category 4?
It's probably I don't know. Cerebrally, it's probably a big storm. Now, physically,
this is a physical storm. We're discussing physical.
Probably like a summer shower.
Yes.
Like it's just a sprinkling.
It's like we're at Disneyland and just the clouds roll up and it's just torrential and then it goes away and we're just back on the rides in a half hour.
Sure.
If it's that kind of storm, I think I can navigate it. And, maybe I break you, but there's a good chance I just get pinned before the storm ends. Okay, Sammy Brooks' mullet has asked this question many times, so I think I'm going to answer it.
He's really pumped up about it.
He's really pumped. He says, how awesome is it that Wyatt Henson is already planning on being at the Clarion Open as a junior? And he's talking about going to other opens. How many other juniors show up to this level of opens? Seniors are doing not many juniors. I don't know the track record for juniors. I remember Chance Marsteller in 7th grade entered the Nittany Lion Open. I remember that. The Altons entered at very young ages in, I believe, the Nittany Lion Open as well. Henson, of late, it's been rare for juniors to do this.
Julian Tagg was entered in College Opens last year when he was at the OTC with the AP, and the Valiant Prep guys out in Arizona also entered some College Opens before their senior year.
Who are the Valiant Prep guys?
They're coached by Eric Larkin.
Oh, familiar with his work. Okay, so it doesn't happen much, and I think it's great he's doing it. I think it's a really cool way to get matches if you're able to do it, and the rules allow for it, which I'm thankful for. It's great.
I think Chance entering in 7th grade probably ruined it, didn't he? Was it that time or was it?
He won matches.
He won matches. And then, I don't know if it was that tournament or maybe a year later or a couple years later. I don't know. Chance was one of the last guys to wrestle in college opens when he wasn't in college. Because then they shut down that rule for a while.
Let's see if we can get a...
Yeah. I say 7th grade, but now I'm like second guessing myself. But I'm pretty sure he wrestled a college open in 7th grade. Someone can definitely prove me right or wrong. Probably most of all Chance.
Looks like it was 8th grade.
Weak. All right. Any updates on Jaden Cox's weight decision? Maybe he could announce on Flow. That would be awesome. I think Jaden's mind is I don't think his mind on what weight he's going is changing necessarily. I think he probably knows at this point, but I think he's just going to show up. Just he's like, okay, I'm at this weight. I'm 86, and you'll find out when it happens. Now, I'm curious how soon does he have to announce such a thing is my curiosity.
Again, whenever the deadline is for Olympic trials, which will probably be a day before.
So he could literally... Dude, that would honestly... I hope he does it. I hope he can honestly keep it under wraps the entire time. And then we don't know. I think it's great. How cool what a huge story that's going to be when he does go whatever weight he does.
All right, well, I would hate it.
I kind of love it.
I want to know. I want to talk about. Wait, when would? I'm sorry.
We'll talk about it.
When would we have to know by? I mean, when would? What tournament would he have to go in? Does he have to go in any tournament?
He's in the trials, so he can
he's in the trials. I do not want to find out what weight Jaden Cox is wrestling at the Olympic trials on the day of weigh-ins. I don't want it. I don't want that.
No one
selfishly.
Wants
that.
No one wants that.
I think it'd be interesting. Bracky, do you want that or not want that?
How bad do I want it? Medium bad. I could go both ways here. I would like to talk about it, but I also would love a surprise. So I'll say I want a medium bad.
Medium bad.
Chance Marceller went 1-2 at the Nittany Line Open.
Who did he beat?
Tom Reynolds.
From where?
Unattached
West
Penn
Virginia.
State.
Just kidding.
Tom.
He's from West Virginia.
No, I want to know. I want to talk about. I want to
Brian Hortenzio
look
won
at
that week. Shout out
matchups.
Cedar Cliff.
I want to analyze. If it's against Kyle, I want to be thinking about that matchup for 2 weeks going into it. If it's against, well,
I want to think about both matchups. I want to think about both of them. Talk about them both. And then it'll be this great surprise. Okay. So, no, I don't know. I still think in my heart of hearts he's going down. That's what I think's happening.
Yep.
Gene Parmesan. This is a little sad. On death row, you choose blank as your last meal. Let's say it's not death row. We don't have to be about to be electrocuted.
No, we got to be this.
No,
Cause,
we got to be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Well,
has to be death row.
Look,
here's the thing. If you asked choose one meal you can have right now, just make it, or death row, it's going to be the same thing.
No, because here's the thing.
It
When
means
you
so
say,
much. It means so much more.
Yeah. When you say gun to your head, who you picking, right? Things change when death is on the line.
Which is
Seriously,
why
okay,
you
take
want to
me
be
for
in charge
instance.
of the Flow Bathroom Bandit.
Well, yeah.
I'll lead. If it was, just a meal for today, like I'll probably go ribeye, right? Or like lamb chops or something like that, right? Because it's keto friendly. However, death row, I don't have to worry about health anymore because I'm gonna die in a couple minutes. Get me some fried chicken.
So here's my vision. I want a little of. I like so many things, right?
This is already crap.
What? No.
This is already going to be
It's
crap. I can
it's
tell.
my final meal. I can have. There's no rule. There's surf and turf is a combination of meats. I want various meats. I want a little filet mignon. I want a little shrimp.
I bet they'd put a limit on you.
I'm
Christian
not in
wants to go
prison.
down. He wants them to take the prison system. He wants them to take them to the hibachi house.
I want a little steak, a little shrimp. Okay. I want to start the meal with a nice watermelon. Some nice fresh sliced watermelon. Okay. A chicken, fried chicken leg and a wing. A slice of real good New York. Listen. It's officially a meal if I can eat all of it. If I can eat all of it, then it's a meal. All right.
I know, but this is dodging the question.
This is completely dodging
I
the
want
question.
This is my meal.
This is crap. This is
not a meal.
This is
It's
crap.
not a meal, dude.
This is a hodgepodge of your favorite foods.
Yeah. You're just listing your favorite foods now.
If I go home and I make all those things, that's my meal. That's dinner. Just because it doesn't conform
You make these things often?
I do. I could.
This is a common
There's nothing prohibiting
Wednesday
me from doing
nights.
it.
That's filet mignon, shrimp, and New York pizza night.
Oh yeah,
Watermelon
that's what I was
night.
gonna say. A New York slice. One New York slice, some mashed
From
potatoes,
Sbarro's.
and then only one dessert. I just want some of Katie's peanut butter pie.
Oh my god.
Right.
So, okay, what if, for the sake of Kristen
Also
has to-
chili, a bowl of chili.
first of all, you're not eating it. Now you went overboard. You're not eating all that.
A
So
cup
it
of
doesn't
chili.
count
A
as
cup of
meal.
chili. You're right.
You guys got to worry about heartburn?
Okay,
All
so
right, for the sake of Christian's response, though, let's make it a dish. What dish would be your last dish before being electrocuted?
hang on. There might be CP might be onto something because producer Caleb Blakeman just told me that John Wayne Gacy's final meal was a bucket of original recipe Kentucky Fried Chicken, French fries, 12 fried shrimp, and a pound of strawberries.
See?
Okay, well, listen. John Wayne Gacy was a serial killer. Number
Well,
one. Number
in
two,
this
I
scenario,
don't
we're on
subscribe
death
to
row.
We're death row. We
not
did
a
some
last
stuff.
meal.
We
That's
killed
a-
people. I mean,
You went to the buffet at Silver Legacy. That's what you did. You didn't. It's not a meal.
All right, Willie, I'm with you. I'm doing just one thing, and it would be crabs.
Oh,
So-
what a horrible way to go. All that
crabs.
work, Duncan, and no.
I would do chicken parmesan with a nice side of spaghetti.
Okay.
Yeah, it would
That
be,
is one. That's one dish.
bowl of
That's fine.
pasta.
Yes, that goes
A bowl
together.
of pasta
Yes.
would be hard to top.
Not
That'd be
a
a good.
7-course meal.
They can put it all in one big
I
plate.
hope one day you're on death row. And you have to make this decision.
CP asked him to go to Golden Corral and stop at every station.
Yeah, you can get it at Golden Corral, but you can't have it for your last meal. Give me a break. Listen, I'm designing my last meal. This is what I want, and I think I'll get it too.
Pound of strawberries.
Pound of strawberries. How many?
I mean, he
love-
was a messed up person, so that
That's
makes
a lot of strawberries, though.
I love strawberries, but I can't imagine a pound of strawberries. They're very fibrous. You would fill it up. I wouldn't want to fill up on the strawberries. He didn't eat all that.
A bucket of chicken.
He might have been big. All right, were you gonna say something else, Willie? What is yours?
No, I mean ribeye. Ribeye would be my meal now. Death row. I'm looking at fried chicken or some sort of pasta.
Okay.
Wow. So in Florida, the final meal can only cost up to $40, and it must be able to be prepared locally.
Good.
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 I buy local. $40.
What can't
Listen,
be
Well, you're out. You're out, CP, with your filet mignon, your pizza,
I'll make some
your
adjustments.
shrimp.
all right.
Like, that's
okay,
more than
fillets
Can't
out.
be
$40.
prepared locally.
Toss a sirloin on there. I'm team sirloin. Willie knows this. I like a nice sirloin. Willie always makes fun of me like I'm some.
Well, why would you get sirloin if you could have a ribeye? But hold on.
'Cause I don't like ribeye.
This is throwing me off. It must be prepared locally. What can't be prepared locally? Name a dish that has to be flown in.
I don't know, dude.
From Seattle.
I'm looking at famous
Oh,
people.
the only
locally.
chef that can pull this off is in Topeka.
Now I'm looking
sorry.
at the last meals of people that were executed. Timothy McVeigh had 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream.
What?
Timothy McVeigh should have just got a punch in the face.
Well, he got the. Yeah, I think the legal system got the last laugh with
So
Timothy.
this guy got Kool-Aid. Got some Kool-Aid.
Oh my god.
Now that's the most disturbing thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid? You
Kool-Aid
just
for your
want
last
Kool-Aid?
meal.
Well, it wasn't like he had steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid, pecan pie. But
Steak and fried chicken. See, they're doing what I did.
You know, with
Yeah,
the,
that's.
No. I'm an innovator. These guys, great minds.
You're a serial killer.
Crap. Officially not. But thanks, Gene. That's a good question.
Ted Bundy went with breakfast: steak and eggs, hash browns, toast.
I'm not mad at
Not a
that.
bad choice.
That is not bad. Ted, you made some mistakes.
the
You went out on a high note. Actually, you went out on a bad note, but right before the high note, bad
out
note,
on a-
high note.
the people at
Jerry
Jonestown
Hino.
also drank Kool-Aid for their last meal.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Oh,
That's
God.
all right. We'll move on now. Sorry.
How about
You're
How
a
about-
serial killer too.
Dang it, Nomad.
Christopher Brooks? A Reese cup and a Dr. Pepper.
Oh my
God. That's called
gosh.
Brecky's breakfast.
Yeah, that's Brecky's breakfast.
That's you're right. It is.
All right. Feel free to chime in with some more of those, Bracky. These are funny. Speaking of Kyle Bracky, Brock Desert wants to know how much time Kate Bracky will take off when baby Al is born.
Well, we planned this out
actually did.
earlier. I guess we should tell the people I'm moving back to content.
Ooh.
My marketing days are done. I'm coming back to the content team on FloWrestling.org. You guys will probably not notice a single difference, but
Yeah, you will. He'll be writing some great
Well-
articles. He'll be
As soon as we drop premium diaper rankings,
premium diaper rankings.
you know, they'll
We rented
probably
you out for a few years,
Yeah,
but you're back home. You belong.
yeah. We stole you back. It was a reattack.
so we laid out the plan for that transition yesterday, and CP gave me a full 1 day off.
Don't ever say I'm not a giving manager. And no, you know what the funniest part about that is though? So we go yesterday, or no, 2 days ago at 1:30, we had this meeting just like planning out Bracky transitioning from marketing to the content team. It was me and Colby and Joe. So I drew a timeline for like the transition, but it started like when he was born and when he was hired. It's like it's a total joke, basically. Like when the baby's born, and then so like on November 6th has a day for the baby born, and November 7th he comes back, and then November 23rd. It's been up on the whiteboard for over 24 hours. I didn't see this morning if it was still up there, but this like the most common meeting room. Everyone's been in there, and this stupid timeline of Kyle Brackey is just sitting up there. It's really funny.
How does Colby feel about this? I'm sure Colby's sad.
Well,
I'm still gonna be working football.
You can't take Kyle, but so far away from football.
Yeah.
You can't get this guy off the field. So he it looks like a day, but no. Kyle, after he experiences the miracle of childbirth, he'll return when he and Olivia are good and ready. We have it's a flexible situation here at Flow Sports. He could really take the company for a run if he wanted to. Kyle Brackey's probably not the type, but he could.
What does Flo give now? Like 6 months paternity leave?
Basically.
Well, I tried to email HR about this yesterday because I hadn't told anybody. And then they just didn't respond. So things are going well.
Like, wait, when's the baby? Yeah. So I don't know. He could take months.
I plan on taking a sabbatical during folk style season.
That's not gonna be good.
It's not gonna happen.
Some people do that here.
Yeah, some people do that here. So.
Yeah. No one on the wrestling team. Okay. Crap.
No,
Caleb Blakeman or CJ, whoever is hovering over the button, we're ready to go.
Hey, we got Blakeman tomorrow.
Guys, we got Blakeman.
Alien hours.
I don't know if you've ever seen Caleb Blakeman in the flesh, but you will tomorrow. You've heard so much about him. But now it's time.
He looks like I'll give you a little teaser. He looks like maybe he was like a trapper in like Wyoming. He is from Wyoming.
He's from Wyoming. He's trapped game before. I'm certain of it. I don't know it, but I'm certain of it. So he's got a vicious alien hour that he's ready to share with you. So we'll be back tomorrow. 3 straight days, a three-peat. We're excited for that. We'll continue to count down. We'll have Wisconsin, Ohio State, Iowa, Penn State are the next teams to come. Maybe we'll circle back and hit Michigan. Yeah. We didn't talk about Joey Silva this entire show.
Cornell.
Oh my God.
What a travesty. So we'll talk about Silva. At least he got his name out there today.
We're pretty thick in NCAA previews. Space 141 is up today. I'll have 149 tomorrow. Noon. Watch the Joe Russell story at noon. Joe Russell's awesome, and
yeah,
I know we ran the Flow film a couple days ago, but I think you guys should watch this one as well.
I think you should too. Joe Russell's an awesome guy. Crazy story. Bananas. Check that out. And remember, Ohio State Wrestle-Off. We'll remind you tomorrow, but we're going to remind you also right now. D1 Wrestling returns tomorrow live on FloWrestling.org as the Buckeyes wrestle
the Buckeyes.
That's right.
Is this a wrestle-off or the Scarlet and Gray?
Is this a Scarlet Gray Invitational or wrestle-offs?
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
We'll work to get clarification.
We got to get clarity here. While we get clarity, you guys have a good Wednesday. See you Thursday. Later.